Yo, check this out.
Previously heard on GoodHope FM. Let's go.
We're getting into the second hour of the Lunch Club.
And in the second hour of the Lunch Club on a Thursday, we give you Good Living with Bradley Knight, a resident, a clinical psychologist. The one and only Bradley Knight. It's been fantastic having him with us over this time. And today we put a special spotlight on the mental health of our teachers. It is something that came up on the WhatsApp line a few weeks back, more than once, Carissa.
Yeah.
Some of our members of the Lunch Club said, you know what, guys, can we talk about teachers? Can we talk about students and so forth? Today we focus on teachers. So let's introduce the one and only, the host of the Good Living. It is Bradley Knight.
Hi, Mr. Bradley Knight.
All right, hi guys. Always good to be hanging out with you as usual. And you have announced where you are.
Yes.
We've announced, people know they've come to say hello. It's been so good to meet you, members.
Awesome. It's great to be out here. Okay, so very excited today as we continue, just empowering you, our listener, with information to help you look after yourself in terms of your mental health. And, the month of April is National Stress Awareness Month.
Wow.
And today we're focusing on the mental well-being of our teachers. And according to the latest studies, our teachers are facing burnout at rates never seen before, and especially those working in the low-resource schools. So today we are joined by a special guest, Sarah Koopman, who's the head of partnership and advocacy at the Jakes Catterville Fellowship. Before we say hi to her, the Jakes Catterville Fellowship is a not-for-profit organization. They're the ones offering the professional and psychological support, especially for teachers who are entering the profession for the first time and those working in those underprivileged schools. So welcome to the show today, Sarah. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Bradley. It's great to be here.
So before we dive into the topic, please tell us about, just briefly, the Jakes Catterville Fellowship and the work that you guys are doing.
Sure. So the Jakes Catterville Fellowship is an NPO, as you said, that focuses on early career professional development for newly qualified teachers. So those are teachers in the first 2 to 3 years of their careers, just out of university. And our induction program mainly pairs them with coaches on a one-on-one basis that give them classroom visits and feedback and mentorship that help to support them outside of the core theory of how to be a teacher, but really how to cope with the environment that they find themselves in.
Right, and that environment has changed over the years.
Absolutely.
That picture's completely changed. So,
Yeah.
so let's dive right into it. There's been research done, and it's a very concerning statistic showing just how burnt out our teachers, our educators are.
Absolutely.
Can you just paint the picture for us? What is the situation on the ground at the moment?
It's serious. And the recent report was a teacher demographic dividend report, which was published in December of 2024, which said that 49%, which is nearly half, of South African teachers are looking to leave within the next 10 years
Wow.
because of stress and because of burnout. And the main problem that they're facing is the workload, and 70% of those teachers said that it's admin that is the workload that is really getting them down. Not even just the teaching time. It's overcrowded classrooms. It's learners that come with extra struggles outside of their learning needs and psychosocial struggles that the learners are facing, where teachers have to be counselors and they have to be parents, or they have to be social workers, and really supporting their learners before they even get to the curriculum. And that situation is dire, and I think most importantly, stress is not just a buzzword, it has real impact. And 32% of those teachers said that stress is impacting their mental health, as you said, with burnout, but 24% have said that it's actually causing physical symptoms and making them ill.
Brad, just to jump in there, I had this chat with you about where does the therapist go? And I think it's that similar thing about teachers.
Absolutely.
Where do the teachers go? I mean, we're under-resourced. They definitely overworked, probably underpaid as well. And it does bring up that very vital question and the support around it. So I love that you've shed light on the issue. And Brad, maybe you can also direct us here in terms of, are there solutions?
Yeah, look, I think we need to think about what some of those solutions might look like, and the people that make those decisions further upstream, and how they can, consider these recommendations. I'm sure there have been recommendations that came with the study, but I'm just wondering about right now, as we think about it, the newly qualified teachers, the particular struggles that they are facing right now. What are those? You've mentioned the fact that they're dealing with kids that are coming to school with all kinds of issues, the stuff that's not been dealt with at home. They might feel more comfortable with telling teacher that they are being abused or something bad's happened at home. And so teachers now required to step in and do that work. And we're not considering the fact that maybe the teacher themselves haven't had an opportunity to address their own issues that might get triggered by that child coming forward for help. So just it's a double-barreled question. The newly qualified teachers that you guys focus on, what are they particularly reporting is one of the toughest things that they're dealing with? And then currently, what's the situation? Where do teachers go? Can they call a helpline? Where are they currently going for that help?
Yeah, our teachers who, like I said, are newly qualified and are coming fresh out of university and finding themselves facing these challenges are definitely experiencing these overcrowded classrooms and kids coming with all of these other issues that include sort of poverty and the violence in their communities. And
no food at home.
No food at home. And I think the biggest one is just a lack of support is what our teachers are struggling with. They are struggling with a lack of support from parents, a lack of support their own administration within their schools, and that has a knock-on effect on what is possible in the classroom. And that's where we as an organization, as the Jakes Hill Leadership, work with these coaches. And I think that induction has been shown in research and in our own work to be a key solution in bridging that gap and building that resilience, because life is tough. It's tough for all of us, but it really is about how you can show up through the storm and how resilient you can be. And for us as well, with this 2-year induction program and with the coaching, community has also been a really important piece for our teachers, who are able to build their professional networks with their peers in our program, who feel seen, who feel heard and feel held within that community, and can share strategies and share tips to navigate that space together.
That's right. And you can only imagine, guys, that if a teacher is not in a good space mentally themselves, how that's going to impact on their ability to actually do the work that they've been employed to do.
Absolutely. Often it has been said before that the quality of an education system can't exceed the quality of its teachers. And I think that is so instrumental in how we need to hold this issue and move it forward, is that if a teacher is not feeling at their best, is not feeling strong and capable, and that resilience that I spoke about, they can't deliver the lesson to their kids.
All right. So if I could just ask, what are the recommendations coming out of this research? What are they saying? What do the policymakers need to be thinking about? Because it sounds like it's a structural issue that needs to be resolved.
It absolutely is. Burnout is a structural issue. And some of the solutions and recommendations that came out of the teacher demographic dividend report were really managing those large class sizes, making sure that the ratio of teachers to learners is a manageable one for particularly a new teacher. It really is about developing supplementary literacy and numeracy mechanisms for teaching. How do we ease that load on the teacher and empower parents to do that as well? And then teacher support. So teaching assistance has been a really valuable and really useful mechanism to support teachers with, is having extra hands in the classroom to navigate that space.
Oh, beautiful. If you guys just joined in, it is the Lunch Club on GoodHope FM. It is Good Living with Bradley Knight. A special guest, Sarah Koopman, with us, Head of Partnerships and Advocacy at Jakes Hill Fellowship, giving us some beautiful insight into teacher burnout, stress, and so forth.
The Lunch Club with Carissa Cupido and Chad Simon. Only on GoodHope FM.
GoodHope FM, Cape Town's original.
Cape Town's original.
That's right, TLC fam. Thank you so much for choosing us to take you through your Thursday afternoon. Well, listen, at around this time, if you've just tuned in, we definitely get into some good conversation to make sure our mental is in the right place, and we call it Good Living on the Lunch Club with our resident psychologist, Mr. Bradley Knight. If you're hearing some noise in the background, don't stress, don't worry. A little bit of chaos is always good, and we are on the ground at the watershed with I Love Cape Town, and we basically are going to get into so many good things with Cape Town tourism. Before we indulge in more of that, let's continue our conversation with our guest today, Sarah Koopman, Head of Partnerships and Advocacy at Jakes Gerwel Fellowship. Mr. Bradley Knight, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much again, Sarah, for joining us here today. This is close to home for you. You just up the road here.
It is.
That's where you guys are based, in the waterfront.
We are just a short walk from where you guys are broadcasting today, so it was
Beautiful.
fortunate
Yeah,
for
you
me.
work in a beautiful space.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, Sarah, so let's, for those that just joined, we're talking about teacher burnout. We're talking about some very interesting research that's showing just how serious the problem is. Let us quickly just dive into currently at the moment, if a teacher is facing burnout, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of places that they can turn to for that support unless they have medical aid and they can seek help privately. If you do, by the way, I highly recommend that you make use of it and seek the help you need. But many may not have that opportunity. I
think that's an unfortunate reality for many teachers, most people, in fact. Mental health support is expensive or it's difficult to access, and that is true for our teachers as well. Our fellows, our program participants are fortunate in that they have access to psychosocial support through counseling, be it in person or online or even telephonic. But that's not the reality for most teachers, and that is a dire need to help them to sort of tide them over and become foundational to their functioning.
Okay. There is an army of registered counselors who are unemployed and unable to necessarily work in, let's say, hospital services or state services. And I think that maybe this is an opportunity for us to think about solutions. Can we get some more mental health support in the schooling system at some point so that it's a win-win? The teacher assistants, I mean, maybe you're in matric and you didn't have any plans sorted for 2025. There's an opportunity for you to maybe train as a teacher's assistant, because that's going to help. That's going to help.
Teaching assistants are critical in providing support to teachers, and there are programs available through the Department of Education and through the CETAs and a provincial level where you can train. If you are a matriculant, you have a matric certificate, you can train to be a teaching assistant, and there's always a long-term view of potentially retraining or upskilling to become a teacher, but it's particularly in under-resourced schools and in what we call no-fee and low-fee schools. Those teaching assistants are critical to supplement what is happening in the classroom.
I think I'm seeing lots of win-win situations here. If the policy makers and the decision makers can actually maybe get together around the same table and actually say, listen, let's figure out a way around this.
There definitely is a strong impetus from the Department of Education to take induction as a policy and really enrich it and entrench it for teachers in a very practical sense. And that is, I think, part of what we're going to need to do is to really organize it and entrench it in as part of the training. Once you are completed with your degree, to make sure that you go into a program for induction to upskill you and to tide you over.
Here we go. And maybe also to think about, just as we get ready to wrap, how we can also provide teachers, educators that are being trained with counseling skills that help them be a little bit more effective. You don't have to be a psychologist for the learner, but if you have some basic counseling skills and know where to point them, what direction. At the moment, from what I understand, you send it to the school-based support team and they send it upstream into the district office and they get the help for the learner, but the teachers are not being supported. So we do need to think about what are the solutions and how maybe in the teaching, in the curriculum space, we can also prepare teachers for holding mental health in spaces like that for the learners and for themselves, just ultimately in terms of just looking after their own well-being as well. So a lot now ahead of us, and I'm hoping that there's work ahead for you guys. Could we invite you back when you have some feedback from the
Please,
Sarah. I'm now a TLC member.
Oh man,
VIP, thank you very much.
You got the VIP boss. So I think that's about us for today. I think just on the way out, let's not forget that affluent schools have the same kind of teacher stress, because I'd imagine you're going to have parents who are going to have very high expectations because they're paying such high fees. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. So, just worth a mention, they too might be struggling with a lot of stress, just a different kind of stress, but stress nevertheless.
The load is carried, I think, across the board by teachers, in that it goes way beyond what it takes to be a teacher, which is what they learn at university, is how to teach. We call it pedagogical skills. But I think what is missing, as you mentioned, Bradley, is those softer skills of how do you hold the learner as a whole individual, not just holding the curriculum for them.
And how do you look after yourself in the process?
Absolutely.
There we go. That is also prioritized. This is something that can go on all day, so we have to wrap it up there.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Sarah Koopman, Head of Partnership and Advocacy at the Jakes Cadwell Fellowship. Great work you guys are doing. Keep up the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
And I guess that's a wrap from me. Guys, thank you so much. And big shout out to all of our teachers. We love our educators. So.
Yeah, man. I think
Big love to
massive shout out to the teachers out there. If you are listening, if you have a family member that's a teacher, or just anyone out there, I think, we always salute all of you, and we always want to, I think these conversations help us understand a bit deeper, at a deeper level, some of the things that you do go through. So, Sarah, thank you for spending time with us. Mr. Bradley Knight of the Good Living, thank you for spending time with us too.
Thank you. So, can I just quickly add in, start the conversation at school. Talk to the school management team, get the conversations going there, and hopefully something good can come of that.
Absolutely. I mean, Brad and I mentioned this off air last week, that it all starts with that conversation, because the more you know, and what you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. So hopefully you definitely got in the knowing right now. Good Living with Bradley Knight every single Thursday.
Feel it. For more, tune in to goodhopefm.co.za.
It's all you need.